It's as emotive as it is polarising. 60 years since the last change in abortion laws, and tonight a vote in Parliament could see it altered again, in what's being pitched as the biggest shake-up to reproductive rights in over half a century.
Originally passed by an all-male Parliament, elected by men alone, this Victorian law is increasingly used against vulnerable women and girls. Since 2020, more than 100 women have been criminally investigated. 6 have faced court and 1 has been sent to prison.
Behind the scenes, fierce battles between competing amendments to the Crime and Policing Bill. The first, being brought by Labour MP Antoniazzi, seeks to prevent women from being criminalised for terminating their own pregnancies.
What do you say to those who say the law's fine at the moment, we don't want to open this up again? This is a very incendiary topic for many people.
There are many incendiary topics, but we can't hide away from having those open and honest discussions with our colleagues and across the House and with society. That is why I am very keen to fix an anomaly in the law. This stops women being criminalised, and that is my priority.
Sir Edward Lee plans to vote against the amendment. He'd like to see abortions tightened, including scrapping access to at-home abortion pills before 10 weeks, brought in during the pandemic.
Safe abortions in a clinic under medical supervision up to 24 weeks. That's the law, and that's what we should keep.
But you think it's right that these women should be prosecuted?
Well, if you break the law, the law is a law. You are prosecuted. There's been very few prosecutions, but that is why we have it. That's why we have a law. You can't just have a law which people ignore.
A rival amendment brought by Creasy goes further, decriminalising terminations for women and medics or a partner who assist. Mindful of what's happening in America, the amendment would also prevent abortion law from being changed by a future Parliament.
This issue about abortion access is increasingly under attack, not just here in our shores, but around the world. And that if we think that the reason why we face these challenges are that we have these outdated laws in this country, then why would we retain them in any shape or form?
But the amendment has been described as unworkable by abortion providers.
We are concerned that that amendment would jeopardise women's ability to access care in this country by creating, in effect, a regulatory lacuna, a period of time in which providers didn't have the regulations that they need to safely provide services.
Neither of these amendments would change the legal limit in which a woman could access abortion. That would remain at 24 weeks unless there are special circumstances. But what it would do is stop women who have had terminations or even miscarriages from going through the criminal justice system.
Women like Nicola Packer, who was prosecuted after taking abortion pills at home during the pandemic. Based on her last period, she thought she was 6 weeks pregnant, but in reality, she was 26 weeks. After 5 years, she was cleared by a jury of unlawful abortion. Her friend, who supported her throughout, was in Parliament to hear the debate.
What's the emotional toll been on your friend, Nicola?
I watched her change from this sparkling, lovely, delightful person into a shadow of herself, you know, hunched over, living in fear. Her every waking moment was infected by fear and trauma, wondering what's going to happen. Will she go to prison? Why is no one believing her?
The arguments from both sides of the debate are passionate. MPs will have a free vote on the issue, where they'll have the opportunity to bring in the most substantial change to abortion law since 1967.
Well, moments ago, the MPs came flooding out of the chamber, including a rather relieved-looking Antoniazzi, and that's because her amendment passed, meaning that women now can't be prosecuted for having an abortion at any stage in their pregnancy. It really is a historic moment. It still needs to get through the laws, but abortion has been a criminal offence since 1861. It was widely expected to pass. It had cross-party support, but it had a huge majority, 379 to 137. It means now that Creasy's amendment won't be voted on, but there was another amendment, a third amendment, and that was on mandatory appointments for those seeking at-home abortion pills. But that didn't pass. It didn't pass by quite a big majority. The message from that chamber, loud and clear, that they want no rolling back of abortion rights. A lot of arguments for this amendment that passed today was around the suffering of women. Many of those prosecuted in recent years were vulnerable women, but there were passionate arguments on both sides, including an intervention from the Justice Secretary herself this week, calling the amendment dangerous and unnecessary. But that amendment did pass. As I say, a historic day.